In this video, we're going to discuss about the class Diplopoda. In my last video, we discussed about Chilopoda, who is the class of centipede. Centipede and millipede, they look somewhat similar, but there's some striking differences between both of them based on how they look like. Like I mentioned last time, when I differentiate between the centipede and the millipede, the centipede move very fast, millipede are very slow, and centipede they have venom, okay, and are very active at night. So these two species, you can easily differentiate both of them based on how they look like. So we're going to talk about the characteristic classification and the importance of the class Diplopoda, which is the class of millipedes. So millipede is very common. So have you ever seen a long black animal with many tiny legs that coil into a tight spiral when you touch them? When you touch a millipede, it tends to want to coil. Okay, so sometimes you can be curious to think out, okay, is this special an insect or does it actually bite? Why does it have so many legs? So that is something to be curious about. So this is a very good example of a picture that showed how millipede look like. So when you touch a millipede, they tend to coil, and this coil is type of defense mechanism that make them to be able to shy away from any form of predator and any form of way for them to prevent themselves from harm. Okay, so class Diplopoda includes millipede, long-bodied arthropod with many legs, and it belongs to the phylum Arthropoda and subphylum Myriapoda. Okay, so we have different examples of millipede. So you have a giant African millipede, and you have some pale millipede. Though I've not seen that species before. Flat-backed millipede, I've not seen that species. And we have your Bristol millipede. So I've only seen these giant African millipede. Okay, so classification: Kingdom Animalia, Phylum Arthropoda, Subphylum Myriapoda, Class Diplopoda, and the common name is called the millipedes. They're all generally called millipede. Okay, so where can we actually find the species? So you can find them in a damp soil. You can know they are decomposer. They feed on dead leaves, and they are also known as detritus feeders. Okay, so they find in damp soil, and they find in leaf litters. You can find them in rotting logs. You can find them under rocks or barks of trees. Okay, so let's go through the characteristics. All right. So the first one, they are long and they have segmented body. So you can see this body. You can see the body here have different segments. So all these are segments. Okay, and these segments are made up of many repeating lines, like, and they are elongated and cylindrical in shape. All right, unlike the centipede that is flattened. Okay, so you can see how elongated they look like, and they're cylindrical in shape. They're like a cylinder. So that's why if this millipede dries up, for example, if you cut along the segment, you see some tiny holes that look like a cylinder. Okay, that's why they're said to be cylindrical in shape. All right, and again, they have two pairs of leg per segment. So each segment have two pairs of leg connected. So you find it difficult to see it, but now the reason you find it difficult to see because they have many tiny legs. So but each leg, each segment has has pairs of two pairs of legs per each of these segments. So okay, so the next thing, they have short antennae. So this is an antennae, and this antennae help them to sense the environment. Okay, so we have hard exoskeleton. No, we have terrestrial skeleton, we have endoskeleton, we have exoskeleton, we have hydrostatic skeleton. Okay, so the body is covered by a tough exoskeleton made of chitin, which help for protection. So defensive coil, this is a kind of this defensive mechanism they use to protect themselves from prey. Okay, so when they're threatened, most millipede coil the body into tight spiral to protect their softer underside. Okay, so chemical defense glands, they have some glands that they secrete which have this irritating and foul smell that can make a predator to just leave them alone. So they're also known as detrivorous feeding, because what happened, they feed on decaying plant matter. Once the plants fall to the soil, they tend to decay. They feed on that decaying matter, and this makes them a very important or decomposer. So they help to clean the environment by eating those wastes that we have in the environment. So you can also call them, they also serve as a garbage collector to a certain degree. So what's a garbage collector? It means, so once a leaf dies, the leaf falls to the soil, sorry, and it decompose, they feed on the leaf and they help to clean the environment. So in that sense, they kind of act as garbage and collector. Unlike scavengers, scavengers are the key organisms that actually play that role as a garbage collector. So they play that role in their own special way. So they use it. They use trachea. They use trachea for respiration, and this trachea is connected to spiracle, just like an insect. Okay. Then they have some. This species have different importance. So I'm going to go through the beneficial aspect. So they break down leaf litters and plant matter, enriching the soil. So when they break it down, what happened? This plant matter add nutrients to the soil. They add carbon to the soil. They make the soil more fertile for plant to grow properly, and they erode the soil through burrowing. So when they burrow into the soil, air tend to enter into the soil, and there's some organisms that's found inside the soil that is very useful for plants. They tend to get more oxygen, and for them to be able to to perform properly. They recycle nutrient back into the ecosystem, and some large species like giant millipede are kept as exotic pets. So I don't know about this, but hopefully it's possible. So the harmful effects of these species, they can become a nuisance pest in gardens and greenhouse when their numbers is very high. And defensive secretion may irritate skin and eyes. And occasionally, they can damage seedling and soft plant roots and can invade homes in large numbers during migration. So the secretion is what they secrete out has this kind of bad offensive smell, right? And I don't think you want to get a millipede into your water and you drink it. Hmm, that may cause a very health risk. Okay, so but that secretion they made that has this kind of smell that is repulsive is kind of their own defensive mechanism that prevent them from predators. Okay, so let's go through some questions here. Um, Millipede belongs to which subphylum? So this is Chili serrata, Crustacea, and Hexapoda. So they are myriapoda. Okay. How many pairs of legs are found in most body segments of millipede? So theirs is what, two. All right. The millipede primarily feed on decaying plant matter. All right. So this is just the information about millipedes. So it's very important to know where they are found, the habitat, the kind of thing they feed on, their general characteristics, the class they belong to, and their economic importance. So this are just very clear information of things you need to know. So in my next video, I'm going to discuss about phylum mollusca, which are the snails. Okay. So see you in my next video, and thank you for watching this video to this point. Goodbye for now.